on my sites, but my book is on Amazon as well. You know, I'm on the Amazon bestseller list because I go to where the people are. You have to be high and out of your mind to ignore the fact that there are 1 billion people at any particular time. There's 7 billion people in the world. 1/7 of them are on Amazon sometime in the day. You know, so go to where the people are, but still nurture what you got going on over here. You know, and that's what makes sense. The problem with that is if you're an artist, you think going where the people are is getting a record deal, getting on the radio, shooting a video that's way over budget. Yeah. That's not what it is. You can go to a film school, you can go to a college and get a couple film students who'll be happy to do your music video for a project, and you put that on YouTube, you put it on Vimeo, you put it places where it makes sense, and you talk about something that's so shocking or so provocative that it will allow the audience to find you. Nothing I say is revolutionary. Nothing I say is brand new. You know, 2 + 2 is 4, but to my 18-month-old who doesn't understand 2 + 2 yet, when she gets to kindergarten, that's going to change her life. You know, so I'm just a teacher in a different package.
And then I want you to talk about, you know, some of the sacrifice you made for your career, because I was reading that you went through homelessness and depression. And then I was like, man, like, just, like, all the, like, stuff I read about you, be like, dang, like, it seemed like you wouldn't go through depression or nothing like that.
Do you know the greatest lesson I've ever learned in my life?
Mm-hmm.
When I was a kid, my father came home one day with me, and he was laughing. He and my brother were laughing hysterically. And they told my mom, my father said, that boy's crazy, but he's going to be something. And my mother said, well, why do you say that? Because I said to him, David, you're not going to fight your brother for the front seat? And he said, no, I want to be chauffeured. I was 3. I thought that was the life. You know, having a driver or being able to fly private because I'm producing this person's show or I'm friends with this person who's a particular rapper of a certain caliber. I used to think that those things were cool. I used to think that, you know, oh, these girls dig me, this, that, and the third, and I can get this, and I can go do that, and I can party where I want to. There was a point in my life where every Christmas, on December 27th, I would leave Philadelphia from visiting my family, my mother's side of the family, and I would go to Vegas every single year. I stayed on the 8th floor of the Stratosphere Hotel. I would get up, go to the pool, have a drink at the pool. It'd be like 8 o'clock in the morning. I didn't care. You want to know why? Because everything was rolling. Mm-hmm. You know, what I learned with all this gray hair and all those sacrifices, I made some very stupid decisions, both financially and emotionally. I had people around me who didn't care about me, only what I could do for them. And I will tell you what I tell my wife. I would rather fight with my wife than be happy with somebody who doesn't care about me.
Right.
I slept in my truck because I didn't have 2 things. Number one, I was depressed, and I didn't know that that's what it was at the time. And when you're a depression sufferer, you're always a depression sufferer. And black people need to get over this thing where you can't talk about depression. You know, you need to talk about it. You need to be able to get counseling and do what's necessary. A pill ain't never hurt nobody. You'll pop a pill if you got a headache, though. We got to get past that. So I learned that what I have inside of here, as cliche as that sounds, is greater than anything I can financially attain, because you can't take away what I got in here. You know, and if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't be free to pursue and marry my wife. I wouldn't have my beautiful children. I would not have, you know, a best-selling book. You would not be talking to me. You know, so I believe that if we focus on building a life, then you can then stop worrying about making a living. I don't do things to impress other people. I do things to impress upon people the importance of how finite we are in the grand scheme of life. Right. You know, it's said that everything from the beginning of time up until the year 2003, is being uploaded to the internet every 48 hours. That's the amount of data that's being uploaded to the internet every 48 hours. So we're moving at a rate that our brain is almost not able to keep up with. In other words, you're here and you're gone. And so you don't want to be the person who is just existing. You know, you want to be able to make an impact. I feel like there are people who say to me, and I got to tell you, it is the most humbling thing in the world, where somebody says, something you did, something you wrote, something I saw you speak, I took your course, I read your book, and it changed my life. You know, what if I didn't exist? What if I actually jumped off of that roof because I had just lost everything, which is what I was going to do? What if I just said, you know what, to hell with it? You know, how is that fair to my daughters who wouldn't be here? How is that fair to my wife? She wouldn't have a husband. You know, I would have altered the course of other people's existences. This one guy called me one day and he said, "Listen, man, I got a dream. It may sound crazy to you, but I want to start a cleaning business." And I sat on the phone with him for 3 hours. The man now has one of the biggest cleaning businesses in Atlanta. If I wasn't here,
that wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't have happened. And that doesn't mean it's big me and little you, but it means to say that every person on this planet has a purpose, a calling, a destiny. Jay-Z refers to it as your own level of genius. You know, Einstein says that if you look at a fish and judge his genius by his ability to climb trees, he'll never think anything of himself. You put that fish in water, though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm here for a reason. And I found that reason. My whole purpose in being here is to help people be great. And when I'm coaching somebody, or I'm giving a speech, or I'm writing a book, I'm also coaching myself. I'm not where I want to be. I'm not, you know, to a place where I can have, you know, fabulous vacations with my 4-person family. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not there yet, and I'm getting there. I'm doing well. Don't get it twisted. But I can't put those luxuries before the business of what needs to be done in my household and what needs to be done for my brand. So that's why I work so hard, man. This life, it's precious and it's fragile.
And then I always ask the guest this, but I think I know your answer. I just want you to confirm it. Money, fame, or love? Which one would you pick?
Love.
Yeah. But you seem like you had to learn that.
Yeah, I had to learn that. Because here's the thing, right? God is very funny. My mother named me David. My father wanted to name me Mark. Names mean things. David in Hebrew means beloved. If you break down the word beloved, it is be loved. All I ever wanted to do was be loved. I was the nerdy kid with the Coke bottle glasses. That's why, to this day, I'm really anal about the brand of glasses I wear, as superficial as that is. That's how I am. I couldn't have sneakers that were dope. My father bought me my first pair of Jordans when I was a kid, before he retired, from a career in government law enforcement. So I carry those things with me. I was never really accepted because my brain was running faster than most folks, and I was ashamed of that. My hair was too curly, so they used to say I had a perm and all those things. So I kept my hair shaved real low because I was ashamed that I didn't look as different, or a comb didn't stick in my hair the same way as it does somebody else. All of those things stick with people. So I said, when I get older, I never want to be poor, because if I'm poor, then people will look past me, or I won't be great enough, or, I've always been a fat kid, so I'm going to be, I'm going to be smart. I'm going to be so smart, and people will love me. And I was focused on all of these things that I thought would get people to love me. And then I realized one thing. Huh?
The external.
Yeah, the external stuff. I realized that I don't need the world to love me. My wife, I don't know why. She says to me, I said, why did you choose me? She said, because you had a plan. You knew what you wanted and you came to me straight. And I laughed because the day I met her, I came to her straight and said, my name is Dave Anderson, I'm going to marry you. She told me, Negro, please. But apparently, right. Second thoughts make liars of us all. So now, if my wife loves me, and I know she does, because she's been through hell with me. See, nobody talks about the fact that just a few years ago, we were struggling, like couldn't get groceries, struggling. Nobody talks about the fact that, I had to do things like, sell water on the street, or nobody talks about, the 1,000,001 odd sales jobs I had to take because everybody was so scared of my resume because I was so overqualified. When somebody loves you past all of that bullshit, they deserve your loyalty and respect, and it doesn't hurt that she's, really, really good to look at. So I want to make sure that when I come home, my kids are happy to see me, which they are. I want to make sure that, my 70-year-old mother, who's my only living parent, didn't make all those sacrifices for nothing. You know what I mean? And so I want to be the best me I can be. And the one thing that I'm working on above all else is I'm focusing on getting my body to where my brain is. Like, I constantly focus on my brain.
That's funny you say that, because that's how I feel. Because I feel like my brain, I was like, shit, if my brain matched my body, I'll be like Arnold Schwarzenegger. So I actually tell people that all the time. I tell people that all the time. I was like, I want my body to match how my brain feels. That's funny Absolutely. You say that.
And it's funny, people always say, you talk about your wife a lot. And I say, yeah, I do talk about my wife a lot because I am her, we are one. Wow. You don't really see my wife. My wife is not an in front of the camera type of person, but my wife was the one who says to me, listen, what you ain't going to do is have me move all the way out here, marry me, and then I got to be a widow raising 2 kids. That's not going to happen. And she was like, you got all these plans and all these dreams and all these schemes and all these things that you want to do. How you going to do them if you die? How many of these old people do you know? And I was like, damn. See, sometimes the world can't reach us. We all know you shouldn't drink too much smoke. We all know you shouldn't be eating a whole bunch of saturated fat. But yeah, we do that. We drink, we smoke, we get behind the wheel of a car. We do all these things that we know we're not supposed to do because it's not real to us. My wife makes things real to me.
You know what I'm saying? Especially if you got somebody that can break that down and say that to you, that's love. Because, a lot of people just sit there and they'll feed you whatever drug you take it. And they'll just keep giving it to you. They don't care. Like, so to have somebody actually sit you down and be like, look.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to any aspiring business owners? Like somebody my age, their mid-30s.
I'm not that much older. Don't let the gray hair fool you. I would say, please, for the love of God, stop pulling money out the business the second you make something. Put money back into the business. Get ahead of the technology. There's so many things that you can do now, it just doesn't make any sense for you to be struggling. But don't start balling. If you've been living off of 40 grand, stay living off of 40 grand and try and stack everything you possibly can. If you can. Like, for me, I pour 85% of the money back into the business because I have to. And think about your legacy. We don't really think about our kids. We don't think about what happens when we're gone. I would also say that stop looking at the profit and Shark Tank as a way to get on. Stop looking for somebody else to grant your wishes. We have this fairy godmother syndrome. Right? You can't do that. Yeah, you can't. You got to be in a place where you can actually take control of your life. You know where you want to go. You just have to get there. The internet has leveled the playing field. Enjoy the struggle. Enjoy it. Because let me tell you something, man. When you're successful, you're sitting on top of the world looking down on creation, you're going to miss the freedom that you had. You're going to miss that drive, that thing that gets you up in the morning and says, oh man, I'm going to get after it today. We lose that somewhere. Get people to complement where you're weak or the things that you don't have the strength to do. Like, yeah, I got 2.5 million hits on YouTube. I got a videographer on my team now. Why? Because he sees things in a way that I can't. And I'll say, hey, I want you to do this. There's a video on YouTube where I go back to the last station I worked at. And I'm sitting there, and they're like, well, can you, because I said, it takes about 20 seconds for you to do an elevator pitch now. The standard is usually 40 seconds. I said, you can do it in 20. And they said, we'll do it in 20 seconds. I was like, and I did it. I did not know how long I was going. I was trusting my internal clock. I watched the video back, and I